Hello YouTube, I'm going to do a short video today on a small solar electric system you can build for less than $150 US. There are three main parts to this system. The first is the solar panel. The second is the charge controller. And the third is the battery. Now the solar panel I've selected is a 15 watt, and solar panels are measured in wattage. It is also 12 volts. Okay, this is not a terribly efficient solar panel, but it's cheap and it's somewhat durable. And you just have to be careful. If you get larger solar panels than what you're looking at here, they may be 24 volt. So you want to make sure it's a 12 volt solar panel. The second item is the charge controller. It is also 12 volts, and the maximum amperage on this is 7 amps, which is about 5 times more than I need. So I could actually put about 5 solar panels on this charge controller. Now the last item is battery, and you can use whatever battery you have available. In an ideal world, you want to get a marine battery, but I've selected this lawn and garden battery because it's lightweight. It was 20 bucks. Okay, so I'm just trying to put together a simple system that the people can use here. Okay, so what we're going to do here, whenever you open this solar panel up, you'll find there are a number of different types of connectors. Okay, the connector that we're actually going to use for this is the one that has the male and female end. Okay, and on the other side it just has 2 stripped out wires. Okay, the connector simply plugs into the wires coming off the solar panel. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the charge controller, and we're going to look at the set of leads that is going to the solar panel. Okay, there are 2 sets of leads. One says battery, one says solar panel. So selecting the set of solar panel leads, I'm going to strip them back. Okay. Then we're going to strip back the leads coming off the solar panel connector. Okay, now there's a lot of different ways you could do this. The simplest way is simply to tie the red to the red, twist them together and wire nut them. Okay, black to the black, wire nut them. What I'm going to do here, mainly because I'm in a area not too far from the coast, is I'm going to use barrel connectors. Okay, just a note about connectors. Okay, they're not all created equal. You want to make sure that you get at the very least automotive quality connectors. Get marine if you can find them, if you have a marine shop near you. Okay, so what you have here is you have 2 sets of leads, one off the charge controller and one off the solar panel. And you're simply going to go red to red and black to black. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take what's called shrink tubing or shrink wrap. If you look for it in the store, it'll be called heat shrink tubing, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces about 1 3/4 long. Doesn't have to be exact. We're not building a rocket. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to slide that over my 2 sets of leads from the charge controller. Okay. Next I'm going to take my barrel connector and I'm going to compare it to the length of the wire that's coming off the different leads. And I want it to be about halfway into that connector. So I'm going to turn it back a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. Okay, so now that I have all 4 of them trimmed back, and make sure that you twist it together again to get rid of any of your loose strands. I'm going to slide the barrel connector over, okay, and match up the leads. Okay, now once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and crimp it. I'm going to do the same for both. Okay, check it to make sure that your connections are good. You've crimped it well enough. Then I'm going to slide my heat shrink tubing over. Okay, now once you have your heat shrink tubing in place, you're going to go ahead and melt it and shrink it down. Never lend your tools out. I have a torch to do this. And that'll go a long way to at least keeping the moisture out of there. Okay, so I've made my connection from the solar panel to the charge controller. Next I'm going to connect the charge controller up to the battery. Okay, now on the battery side of the charge controller, I have 2 stake-ons. I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. Yeah, I know somebody out there just cringed, right? Okay, I'm going to strip those back about 3/4 of an inch. Make sure you twist it together. Okay, so next you're going to take the set of leads that comes off the charge controller. Okay, you're going to take your alligator clamps, and these are 30 amp clips, more than adequate. You're going to pull the insulation off, and you're going to see that there's a spot where you can connect the wires. Okay, so I'm going to pull the insulation off of both of these. Okay, now notice I have a red and a black. Looking at the leads off my charge controller, I have a black wire with a little bit of red. So say we have a black wire and a red wire. So we're going to take our black wire, we're going to slide our insulation over the wire, twist our strands up a little bit, and put our wire into the alligator clip here. Now you could solder this, okay, and I don't want to get into that right now. But for now we're just going to put that in there, and we're going to clamp that wire down. Okay, so I press that little tab down, and I'm also going to clamp it on the end here. Okay, then I'm going to slide my insulation back. I'm going to do the same thing for my red wire. I'm going to slide the insulation over the wire, slide my red wire, twist it together a little better. Slide the red wire underneath the tab, crimp it in place. Slide the insulation back over. And now it's a simple matter of taking your wire leads, taking your alligator clamps and putting your red on the positive and your black on the negative. Checking the charge controller, you can see that it's charging. Okay, even though it's almost sunset here. So we're in business. 150 bucks. Thanks, hope you enjoyed.